How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about GGPI, which was down just over 1% on the day. You guys know already, when this stock pulls back or it gets to attractive price levels, I want to make sure I keep you inside of the loop. We've been able to take advantage of many spikes inside this play. And knowing that we have weakness inside of these markets, I know it's about time we did an update video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we're going to be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for GGPI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $11.32, being down 1.05%. On the low, it tested $11.12, and then on the high, testing $11.49. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 2.089 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 2.534 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we've seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 44.29. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are above the 200-day, but we did close below the 100-day. We're also below the 50-day and as well as the 21-day EMA. So what we have been seeing from GGPI is a good amount of selling pressure, and we've seen this going on with the overall market as well. As far as support, we ended up testing $11.12 on the day. So why is that making me so excited right now? You know, when this stock falls below $11, that is an area where you want to take into consideration if you want to get into a position and swing this play. Or maybe if you're a long-term investor, it's definitely an area that you want to keep a look at. So what I'd want to expect as the market continues to pull back, could we use this 200-day moving average as support, which is right around $10.95. Keep in mind, this is a SPAC. The floor price is at $10. So as far as for the risk to reward ratio, it can get very interesting here if it decides to test these levels. We've seen it do it in the past, and we've experienced strong run-ups. And especially when we get some more information in regards to the merger date, we already know the potential of how this stock could actually pop. So what I want to see as far as for a bullish reversal, if we get that going into next week, we need to get above $11.50. We had $11.49 as the high of the day. And if we're able to get past it, that's where we need to get to the 21-day EMA, which is at $11.69. And then essentially we want to see it make a move going to $12. We know this will be a psychological area for GGPI. There's going to be a lot of selling and so forth, but if there's demand, if we have some buying, or if we have a catalyst like we've seen many times in the past, we can get some strong spikes and get above $12.50. So now let's go on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for GGPI. Scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings here, we have for April the 21st, we have Trellis Management Company that purchased 19,531 shares. And we also have a closed position here from Belvedere Trading, as well as PSI Advisors, XR Securities, and as well as Canton Hathaway LLC. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 44.21%, and for the off-exchange short volume, it is at 698,014 shares. Scrolling down on the page, short shares availability is at 150,000, updated 8 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 3.20%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 20th, it is at 27.79, and then for the close of the 21st, it's at 44.21. So that is quite a significant increase right there as far as for the short interest. And this is why if we have above average volume coming into this play or we get a strong catalyst, GGPI can make some strong moves to the upside. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for GGPI. So we see on the inflow it's at 3.87 and then on the outflow it's at 4.86. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 2.94, and then on the small it was 0.93. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0.39, on the medium it was 3.49, and then on the small it was 0.98. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, April the 22nd, we had an outflow of just over 391,000, and we also seen an outflow on the 21st and as well as the 20th. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 2.50%. So this is not too bad for a stock like GGPI. It does see some volatility, but one thing that we have seen as of late, we're not getting as much volume. And this is why we see this stock price continuing to pull back. But I'm perfectly fine with that because I've talked about it many times in my Polestar videos, or should I say my GGPI videos. And I'll talk about it some more inside of the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for GGPI in regards to the price action, if we continue to have a pullback, I'm expecting us to hold support at $10.95, which is right where we have the 200-day moving average. But here's the best part about it. You guys know I love adding to my position when this stock trades below $11. And if we go back even further, even better. And the reason why I like this is because I'm an investor. You need to figure out what is right for you. I know there's a lot of people that have been complaining, saying, well, you know what, why isn't the stock price moving? Why hasn't it spiked as of yet? And I look at it like this. You are not an investor if you're complaining about the day-to-day moves in the stock. You are more so a trader. So if you want to trade it, then you need to have a different strategy. And now, as far as for a move to the upside now, we need to see it get above $11.50. The high of the day was at $11.49. We make a move above $11.50, that's where we look out for 12. We know that $12 is a psychological area. We could see a good amount of selling pressure. This is where we need to have above average volume coming into the stock. And the best way to get that buying pressure, I feel, is through the business combination. There are many people saying, well, you know what, we should be getting a decision in the next 2 weeks. You should be getting it in a month, blah, 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 blah. You're hearing it everywhere on social media. I say if you are an investor, you should not care whatsoever. You just sit down, be patient, and then you add to the dips when the opportunity arises. We know that it is a SPAC. The floor price is at $10. So let's say this business combination fails and nothing goes through. That means as an investor, you are entitled to your $10 a share. And that's why you have to be very cognizant of the price levels that you decide to add or where you want to buy in at. I want to make sure I emphasize this. It is very crucial. So if you were buying in the $12 to the $13 range, then you have a good idea of what your risk to reward is looking like. Now, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see there has been some interest among institutions, but we also been seeing some closed positions as well. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, there's a lot of shorts who are invested in this play. I'm not surprised because we do trade at relatively low volume. When we were trading at higher volumes, we were seeing some better moves in price action. So that's one thing you want to continue to keep an eye on. And I've said this many times on this channel. Whenever you're in a stock that trades at low volume, it is open to manipulation. And then when we take into consideration the market conditions, retail is going to be selling out. And then we have Jerome Powell being hawkish, saying that, you know what, 50 basis points is on the table. And then we have the Fed meeting that's going to be coming out in the beginning of May. Again, there's a lot of uncertainty, but like Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. You want to make sure that you're buying the fear. When everyone is saying sell, 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 don't buy any stocks, that's where you need to do your homework, do your due diligence, and find plays that you have high conviction in. This is where you bank and make money inside of these markets. You have to focus on buying on the red days, not just buying on the green days. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how GGPI performs going into next week. We'll talk soon.